Hey folks, old Bart Wilson and Sweetie Pie here today. It's Monday or Sunday, the 23rd. We're going to shoot a quick little video here just for a few minutes about tools. This is going to be what I feel like. Well, let me back up a minute. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. First of all, I'm seeing and getting comments from people that are saying, they say they're beginners, okay? So I thought I would do this right here because, you know, you go to a show or you walk in a wood carving show or you look at a website of these wood carving supply places and there's tools galore. There's just like tools upon tools upon tools. And you get confused about what you're going to use or need or buy or whatever. And a lot of times you end up buying stuff you don't necessarily need. Now, I had to learn this the hard way. I have probably used and tried out every brand of tool on the market and still have quite a few of all of them. But I have a set that over time I've taken stuff out and brought stuff back and done this and done that, and it's the stuff I constantly keep going back to, and it's the stuff I've learned how to use. You hear me say a lot, you know, if you've got a 6mm number 11 and I'm using a 4, so be it, or a 5, so be it. It ain't that big a difference. You ain't got to go run out and buy, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to however big a number 11 goes, so you got every size there is. You don't need that. Close is good enough in character carving. Now, if you get to relief carving and stuff like that, and you know all that other stuff, and need the big mallet tools and all, that's a different animal. Okay, I'm talking about the way I carve by hand with, you know, just a few gouges and a knife. Okay, so I'm going to show you the tools that I use on every carving. This is my tool set, and this is all I use. Sweetie Pie will show you that here in a minute because I got them laid out right here on the table. But I'm going to go through first, and I'm going to name off some sizes and tools that I feel like to carve faces and caricatures is what is the most helpful. Now, let me say this. Just because I use a Swiss doesn't mean you can't use a Drake or a Stubai or OCC, Flex Cut, any of them. All of them are great tools. They're all great tools. They all work. They all do the same thing. The key is learning how to keep them sharp. And that's something you're going to have to learn on your own. That's everybody's own little pet peeve thing they do and how they learn how to sharpen and all that. I did do a sharpening video on the Helvey YouTube page 3-4 weeks ago, and just how I keep my knife blades tuned up. But anyway, so don't get hung up on the names and the specific sizes I have. You may have something already that's close enough, okay? And so let's just go with that. So anyway, the number one tool you need to have is the ambition to want to carve, okay? And don't tell yourself, I can't do that. I can't do that. I get so mad. I get so mad when somebody says, oh, I can't do that. And it's not just carving, it's anything. Yes, you can do it. You can do anything in this world you set your mind to. I know because I've done it. Mm-hmm. I've seen other people do it. I've prodded other people in to do it, and they back up and say, well, I be damned. Oh, I can't say that. I be damned. I didn't know I could do that.
Well,
yeah,
you've done that with me too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Sweetie Pie, I've done it with her.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know until you try. And it ain't going to come out right the first time. It's just like carving. But don't get discouraged. Keep going. Keep trying. Keep learning. Keep digging. Keep going at it. Keep practicing. You'll get it one day. I hear people tell me, oh, I'll never be able to carve as good as you. And I'm not a good carver in my book. People tell me I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I ain't. I don't know if I am or not. I just do what I do.
You just do what you like.
I just do what I like.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all you got to do, folks.
Yeah.
That's all you got. Just do whatever makes you happy.
Right.
In carving and in everyday life, okay? But anyway, so...
You want me to pan over to
no,
your
hold on.
spread? Or?
Hold on. Aside from that, the next most important knife or tool you need is a knife. You need a knife of some sort, a carving knife. You need it to fit your hand comfortably. You need it to have a good, the working end of the knife is the blade. The handle, it don't matter about the handle, you know. But, I mean, pretty handles and all are good. I mean, I like pretty handles. Y'all seen all of them I got. I like pretty handles. But the working end is that blade right there. As long as that's good steel in that blade and it stays sharp, you good to go. Now, this is a 2-inch rough out Helvey knife right here, okay? This is what I use for everything, just about. I do have a bigger rough out blade that's a little bit heavier duty, a little bit thicker for when I'm really knocking stuff down. But if you're starting out and you're just wanting to carve faces in the corner of a block or, you know, little bust or little small characters and you're kind of starting with a rough out just to get your feet wet and all that, this type blade right here will do you fine. Now, somewhere along the line, you might decide you want to get a detail blade. That's fine and dandy. Detail blades are you know, they serve a purpose. But I've learned how to do my detail with this knife. You can do everything with one knife. Trust me. I have a friend, John Overby, over there at Dry Creek Carvings on Facebook. He carves with nothing but a knife, and his stuff is smooth as glass, people. You know, because he takes his time and he does it, and he's learned how to use just a knife to do what he needs, okay? I'm going to quote something Steve Prescott said in one of his books one time. It's not the tool, it's the toolie. You can take one tool and do a lot of different things with it. So, a knife is your first choice. Buy a knife that's comfortable to you. You know, if you don't want quite such a long blade, you can get them with shorter blades, whatever's comfortable to you. Now, this should probably be number 1, but I'm going to name it number 2, is hand and finger protection. Get you some type of cut-resistant glove that's comfortable to wear on your holding hand that you can wear. This just happens to be a leather glove, a leather work glove, but it's got a Kevlar lining in it, so it won't cut through, okay? These I have gotten where I like these. These are comfortable. Over time, they end up molding to my hand and they're comfortable. Now, another thing, a thumb guard. See that thumb right there? I'm lucky I got that thumb, because way back when I was doing a carving and I was doing like that, pulling that knife to my thumb, and you see that thumb, how it's humped up right there now? That's because I had about 14 stitches to sew that flap back on, because I didn't have a thumb protector on. Make you, buy you, whatever. This is a homemade job right here. I know it's ugly as all get out, but hey, it does the job. And all it is an unlined leather glove, and I cut the 4 fingers out of it and left the thumb, and I wrapped it up with bowler's tape. That bowler's tape is some good stuff, folks. Get you a couple of rolls of it, keep it, it's good stuff. But just remember, when you go to wrap it around that finger, wrap it loosely, because over time it's going to get tight, okay? But this is a homemade job I made, had it for several years. It's as ugly as a mud fence, but hey, it works and does the job. Okay, now, we're going to talk about tools. All right. Not everybody can run out and buy. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 gouges that I carve with all the time. That's it. Pretty well that's all I carve with is 10 gouges. Except for I do have a couple of tiny dockyards that I use for some details. These are the 10 tools and my knife that I use all the time. Sweetie Pie's gonna swing over there and show them to you. Now, I do like Swiss. These first 5 right here are Swiss made tools. This is a Stubai. These 2 right here are Drake's, and these 2 right here are OCC's. Okay? Actually, I think these are actually Denny's from the old days. These are the old day tools. But OCC still has these. So, I understand, you know, some people just can't run out and buy. You know, that right there is probably, well, if they're $25 a piece times 10, that's $250. That's a lot of money to pour out for carving tools, and you just starting out. But that's okay. You don't have to run out and buy the whole kit and caboodle right off the bat. You can go and buy you could get started with a glove, a pencil, and a knife. That's it. Get you some thumb protection and a glove and a knife and a pencil and a little bit of wood. You're good to go. You can start off right then and there and go. I've seen people carve with nothing but a knife. John Overby's not the only one. Pete LeClaire could carve you a face with just a knife that would just baffle you to death, and just sit there with nothing but a knife. Okay, so these you can add on and grow your collection of tools just to make life a little easier on carvings. So aside from the knife and the glove and the pencil, or calibrated measuring tool is what I like to call a pencil, the first 2 gouges that I would probably suggest somebody buying would be a 3mm number 11 and a 6mm number 11. Okay, that's 2 number 11s, and those are good for bringing out eye sockets and the sides of noses. Okay, now the next 2 that I would probably add to that would be my favorite tool, and you could even add, maybe do the 3mm and my favorite tool, which is a 10mm number 9. What?
Turn it to the side.
Oh.
That's what I was trying to show
I don't know your hand signals, woman. We didn't do. You didn't give me the rundown on hand signals when we started.
To do that next time.
So anyway, this tool right here, this is why I call this my favorite tool, is a 10mm number 9 Swiss. Okay.
There you go.
There's a 10mm number 11 Stubai that does just as good a work. But it's about a 3/8. So a 3/8 number 9 is going to be about what my favorite tool is. Remember, folks, close. And then a 3/8 or 10mm number 7. Okay? Now, those 4 tools right there, you can carve a complete face with. You can do it. I've done it. You know, you don't necessarily need a V tool. I have a couple of V tools right here, and I just have them for convenience purposes. Okay, I can take that 3mm number 11 and I can use it like a V tool, and come back and stop cut my when I cut something like right here. This is a little gnome I'm working on. If I didn't have a V tool to cut that mustache, I could take that 3mm number 11 and run that mustache line and come back and stop cut it and relieve up under it. You don't need a V tool. See what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff is how you learn to use it. Now, the next tool I would probably add would be a little bit bigger That's about a half 5/8 number 7. This one happens to be a Swiss. Drake makes a 5/8 number 7 that I use quite often. I swap them back and forth, and it works very well also. Like I said, the rest of these tools, the 2 V tools I have a 1/4 inch and a 3/16, 1/8, 3/16 inch V tool. They're, you know, these are both Drakes. This one just happens to have a heavy handle on it. These are just for details and convenience, okay? A lot of times I don't use the 1/4 inch sometimes. Sometimes I'll use it on hair, depending on what kind of effect I want on hair. Now the next 2 tools are not necessarily. These will probably be the last tools you would want to buy. And you would only use these if you've been following along in our Sunday Fundy. You can see early on that I use these 2 quite regular. And the one I used in the Sunday Fundy, I have swapped out for a different size that I'm fixing to tell you about. But the next 2 are strictly just for roughing out when I carve from a square block. Now, these happen to be Denny's from the old days. They're OCC tools now. They got the same ones, but this one right here is a 5/8 soft V. They call this one an ocular tool because it has more of a sweep in the bottom than a V. This is an ocular tool, and that one, you can rough a lot of wood out with that. Excuse me. Okay. Now the next tool, I actually have 2. The next tool I'm going to tell you about, this is a 5/8 number 9. Now I have a Drake 5/8 number 11. It's a big old number 11. And I like them both. So I swap them back and forth every so often. So I just happen to be using this one right now. So that's my rundown on tools. You don't have to run out and buy a whole lot. Buy you a good quality knife, and buy you 1 or 2, you know, something to start off with, and go from there. And you may end up, you know, liking something different than I have, a different size or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. You don't have to use exactly what I use. I use it because that's what works for me. So anyway, with all that being said, just take your time to collect the tools. Don't get, you know, all giddy about buying a bunch of tools, because you really don't have to buy a lot of tools to do caricature carving. A lot of it depends on, you know, how much and how big of pieces you're going to do. The small stuff you see me do a lot of, that little rundown right there I give you, that's pretty much all I carve with, you know. So, and I don't find myself really needing anything else. So, with all that being said, me and Sweetie Pie is going to get off of here, and we're going to get prepared for the Sunday Fundy that's coming here in a few minutes. I don't know if she'll post this one, then we'll go to shooting the Sunday Fundy, or we'll go ahead and shoot the Sunday Fundy. She can post both of them. But these are both, the Sunday Fundy's coming here soon. Y'all come, because there's going to be a lot of good information in that on carving heads. And we probably going to have some fun too, because I got some stories to tell. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to y'all. You know, if you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. I'll try to help you out any way I can, except with money. I can't help you with money. You know, I have a hard enough time keeping that around here myself. So, but anyway, we're gonna get off here. Me and Sweetie Pie gonna get off here, and we're gonna go get ready for the Sunday Fundy, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye now.